Hey guys, welcome to Analytics Advantage or AAGS.online. Thank you for joining me again. Today I have a different pick, a different kind of pick as well. So if you're looking at the screen, it is Teradyne, ticker symbol TER. A few things about this. One, I am usually giving you guys a quick hitting pick that we maybe expect to hold for a month, 2 months, 3 months, typically not much longer than that. I make at least like a 5 to 10% gain on it, not more, and a lot of it's just timing. And so that's what I usually give you, with the exception of one or two that have been long-term holds, like a UCO, which is crude oil. We bought last year and it was down at about 20. It's at about 55 right now. That's been a really good hit for us. That's something I'm still holding on to. Teradyne is really a great in between for all of these because it is, or it can be used as a short hold, a little bit longer than a short term hold, I guess, if you want to as well, like something more like a month and a half. And then it can also be used as a long term hold. And I'm going to explain each of those holds and the kind of case for each one. But at the end of the day, I just want you guys to know this is a really good pick I feel really strongly about, and hopefully at the end of this video you will too. First of all, before we get started, if you would, please like and subscribe, comment with any questions, concerns, anything you have regarding either myself, Teradyne specifically, or any of the other picks that are on the website. Again, the website is aags.online, but let's get into it. So Teradyne, first of all, did have a down day today. It also was down yesterday. If you're looking at the graph and looking at get a little bit narrower of a picture here, the last few months have been typically up. So they started off at the end of the last year, beginning of this year, it's kind of 120-ish being about their support line. It did go up in January, came back down, went back up in February at about 140. That was about the resistance spot for both of those currencies. And it came back down in March, the beginning of March. It really dropped hard. It came down to about 104, 105. And to be completely honest with you, I don't see why that happened, but I do look at the volume. And if you look at the volume down here, we can see that it matches kind of what we would see from here, and maybe even some of these early buys back in this area. And so what that tells me is that some of these people that purchased, some of these big purchase days, just got kind of shook out. They got rid of the position, cut their losses at about the beginning of March. But you also see that there's a few days after that where there's still a higher volume level, and that is where people are buying back in. So people who are already holders just bought more on the dip, buying the dip as usual. So that all being said, it continued to rise or go sideways for a little bit, and then at the very end of March, it had a jump. It just, like, within a matter of days, and it went all the way up to about 133, and it stayed there for about 4 days or so, and now it's starting to come back down. Now, the drop back down has been really subtle, and yes, it has been 2 days, but both days it was like $1 to $2. It wasn't this huge, like, 10% drop. There wasn't any news that stated, hey, this is why it's dropping. It was just kind of a natural market correction or fluctuation. That being said, the reason I like this position is, one, as of right now, you can sort of buy it a little bit of a discount, if you want to call it that. I actually think it might drop just a little bit more. Right now, I'm thinking the support price is probably about 121, so it does have a little bit more to drop if you want to just watch it for another day or two. But as soon as you see it either start going sideways and kind of forming that base, or even starting to tick up for 1 or 2 days consistently, you're going to want to jump on this one. And the reason is really the business that they are centered around, or their business model. What they do and the way that they are making money, their bread and butter, is testing semiconductors. They do have other branches of their business that are very lucrative and very high tech, but this has been the basis of their company for as long as I've been watching them, which is about 4 to 5 years now. And that testing of semiconductors is just vital to everything, mainly because there are semiconductors in just about everything we use, whether it's computers, cell phones, your car. Everything has semiconductors now, and we need these items to be tested to be reliable and they have really been the source here in the United States, at least, to do that testing. They also have contracts with some of the biggest companies in the country, like IBM, like Texas Instruments, like Boeing. Other companies just go to Teradyne because they know this is who tests these products, who tests these semiconductors, and they do a great job. It's very reliable. And one of the items that has come up recently, if you've been paying attention to any sort of government talk or Biden talking with companies and CEOs and things like that, one of the items that has arisen is that there is a shortage in semiconductors. And with the shortage in semiconductors, the U.S. is kind of in a bad spot right now as far as technology goes, only because we don't really manufacture semiconductors here in the United States. We have been reliant on other countries to make these items, manufacture them, as well as even manufacture the items they go into, like cell phones, and then ship those to us. With this shortage in semiconductors, and a lot of it was because of COVID, they couldn't make as many because people got sick and production kind of stopped for a little bit. But because of that, you have this need for semiconductors, and we are not at the top of the list to get them because the other countries are going to get them first since they produce them locally. That being said, Biden has been going around and talking to different businesses and different CEOs about how we can fix this, how we can address this semiconductor shortage. You can go read through these articles if you like. At the end of the day, really what's going to come down to is the U.S. government is going to be willing and able to spend billions of dollars on semiconductor manufacturing. And that means the building of plants, the buying of products, of raw materials that need to be used, and all these different, people, different companies that are going to be involved in this are going to make money. But aside from that, semiconductors and the production of semiconductors is not something you can just throw money at. You can't just give somebody $1 billion and say, here, go make me semiconductors. There has to be a lot of infrastructure based around this. You have to get the products, you have to get the blueprints, you have to work with the companies who need it to find out exactly what they need. It's a lengthy process. So one, it's not going to get fixed overnight. And by the time that we have the infrastructure to make these semiconductors, you're probably going to need more semiconductors. So that all being said, really all of this is going to come back to Teradyne, because regardless of who's making it and how much money the government is willing to put into it, someone is going to have to test these. And it's going to be tested not just for the big companies, but for small companies who want to get in on this kind of gold rush. But also, one other entity that Teradyne is contracted with is the U.S. government itself. Teradyne does work with the aerospace portion of the United States government. It also works with the defense portion of the United States government. So they test many things for just about every branch of the military, different planes, different helicopter semiconductors, things like that again need to be reliable, as well as items for NASA. So these items are really important, and they're going to get tested, and they're going to get tested by Teradyne. And the reason, or kind of to pull this all together and circle us back, that is one of the reasons this can be used as a short play. So those orders from the government have to come in by the end of May. And we say that because they are rolling on a fiscal quarter where their budget expires at the end of May, meaning that they need to get these orders in. I apologize, the budget does not, the budget specifically for Teradyne, that is, not the overall budget. So Teradyne's orders need to be in by the end of May from these different branches of the government so that they can have time to test them, to work with them, to make sure everything is in working order. So you're going to see a lot of orders come in over the next couple of weeks here with the government. You're going to see these eventually get exposed, not in a bad way, just they're exposed as in this is who tested our products and this is how many of them and what we paid and all this other kind of information. So you're going to see the price rise, and this typically happens every year. So, and it's a pretty well kept secret. If you've never watched Teradyne or you've never looked at the stock, that's something that's pretty well kept under wraps. So they're going to see an increase in business. Their price is going to increase over the next month. So you can use it as a short-term play. On top of the government contracts that are coming in, you're also going to have a earnings release this year a little bit later than usual. Usually they do around the end of March, kind of as their earnings release date. This year it's going to be April 20th, which is next Tuesday. So if you wanted to buy it now, or any point between now and then. I would say really Monday's probably about your last day, and honestly, the earlier the better. You want to get on this one. If you're going to use it as a short play, you want to either sell it the day after, which would be the 21st on a Wednesday, and Wednesdays are typically good days for the stock market, or you would want to hold it until the end of May, let those government orders kind of start rolling in, and then sell it at the end of May and watch that gain. If you want to kind of play the fence there, you can buy it before the earnings call. The next day on the 21st, you can place a stop sell to make sure that whatever profits, assuming there are some, are either held or that you are only willing to relinquish a portion of your profits with that. If you're going to use this as a long-term play, Teradyne, because of the business that they are in, and I'm at their website right now, if you want to just take a quick glance at the screen, again, semiconductor test, you can see is prominent on their website. This is their bread and butter. This is what they do. But they do also have other applications. They test, again, defense and aerospace, motion control, storage, industrial automation in general, whether that's for Amazon or that's for self-driving cars, or I believe they even have a product in the works right now that is going to be sort of like an automated nurse, where they are self-testing different things inside of hospitals and testing medications and things like that. So a lot of really great applications for Teradyne. This is going to be a company that's going to stick around. The contracts they have in place with the biggest companies in the world are already in place. This is not a fly-by-night company. This is not a new company. This is not somebody you have to worry about having a lot of bubbles and bust. Their employers are going to keep paying them. They're going to be around. Again, I can't give you a specific date. If you're doing a long term, I can't give you a date that far ahead in the future as to when to sell, but just be on the lookout for this one. Keep it in your portfolio, even if it's just a share or two. This could be really great to have, and it's a really great company that's going to go around. I have personally, again, monitored this company for at least a handful of years now. And on that note, I just want to show you something. Again, going back to the short-term play here for just a second. I have followed this at least from 2015, and that's what I'm going to show you here. From April 2015, and then having every April since, and this is the 4th week of April, meaning the last couple of trading days in the month, typically the last 3 to 5. If you placed a buy, and then you placed a sell, again, those last 3 to 5 days, trading days that is, in May, or even waited to the first trading day of June, you would have seen a gain every single year from 2015 to 2020. And again, that includes 2020, where a lot of stuff was not looking so hot in May because of COVID. But every year you would have seen a gain. There was one year where it was only a 1% gain, but still a gain. That being said, the average gain over this 4 years is about 13%. That's something I think we can actually meet again this year, especially if the earnings report is just as good as it's expected to be, if not better. And with more and more talk about semiconductors and more money being thrown at this problem, I really think you're going to see this company take off. And so, again, even if you want to do a short-term play, even if you play the fence like I was saying with maybe a stop sale, if you happen to buy, even if it's just 5 to 10 shares, hold on to, at least one of those shares, if not two. One, if not through at least May, at the end of May. Consider holding that in your portfolio for the long term, maybe even like as a retirement plan. Either way, I hope this was helpful. I hope you guys are going to look into Teradyne a little bit more. I am going to be long this position, so I'm not trying to hide that from anybody. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them in the comments below. Leave me a like. Please subscribe. Let me know if there's any position you're looking at, anything else I can help with. You guys have a great day. Good luck, and let's all make some money.